stuff out of it for the auditor. And,
Who?
he said, well, we had a special call meeting, and I said, yeah, tonight at 6. He looked on his front porch.
See, I only seen it whenever I seen it on Facebook, and I was like, today,
Did
is
you
it?
know who that officer was scheduled the other night?
Young fella.
Yeah, I don't.
couldn't tell you what they were.
He had them there, he said,
Plant 380 onions. 4 of them the other night, they were handing them out, and the rest of yours have been delivered to your
I
house.
don't know what his name was.
cause he asked me,
I never seen
he,
him before.
I hadn't either. He said, can you tell me who's who? And I started pointing them out. And I said, the only two I don't see is Anthony and Patrick. I
You
don't
ever seen
know.
him before, Jimmy? He's a new.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like a nice
He
kid.
probably knows where I live anyway, but
I mean, it says right there.
Hey,
well, I know,
Series,
but
what-
still, it's kind of weird.
hey, Sirius will take you anywhere.
Oh, no, so like, if you put my address in your
It goes in
phone.
that way?
No, it goes that way, so like, my house is the only one, that faces, west. It'll take you to a pasture, right there.
Oh
And so
my
I had people,
God.
like, my sister came by a long time ago when she first came, and she was like, I'm here, but it's a big old pasture, and I was like, and I'm like, right here. So it takes you like, right
So
next
you'd
to
be
me.
the house I'd be mad at when I was delivering Amazon.
Probably so.
It would ping me there. You wouldn't got your package.
Well, so, yeah.
Oh, I got new safety glasses and I thought I wear them. I can't see nothing.
Can, I figured we can at least make a copy of this stuff. We got time. Let me see if she can give me a copy.
You got to make up.
What'd you say, you want a copy made?
Yeah, so you can have yours back. I mean, it's not very much. Yeah.
Or you wanna wait till after? I don't need mine during this.
Well, I wanna write. On it. Yeah.
I didn't think that's what it
She wore my other glasses. She wore my other glasses. These safety glasses, supposed to have a sheet on them. So I went to Dr. Rice and picked them up. Well, I think we need to do a little bit more because I can't really see. I can't really see. Like this. And if I don't wear glasses, I can't see nothing in the store. I have to ask their kids, could you please read this?
The only thing I don't know is perhaps, I don't know the resident on this. I don't know if it's all in
How you been doing?
All right, how are you?
Yes, I was talking about this.
There you go.
Yes, I got all those. Yeah.
He said the chair can just not make no further business.
I got it. Yeah.
Well, you could do this.
I guess I'm gonna make it. You're yelling at me without stopping. The other night. You didn't know.
He's flying home.
All the garbage disposal
I
back.
said, we'll take it, put it in a big old pan and we'll never take the smoking back. Yeah, you'll tear it up. You know, he's starting to, I don't know, we just don't eat. I'm gonna cook chicken and dumplings there. I was like, yes. I get home, I cook chicken and dumplings.
I like it myself.
Why are you doing all that?
I would really get put out.
Yeah.
So sick of hearing that.
Like, is it rabbit season yet?
So sick of hearing that.
It's over
Too
with?
warm, yeah.
Yeah, I like to have rabbit.
I don't know what their position is.
In other words.
Oh, God, this guy in California is raising tame rabbits. 24.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Your knee messed up? Your knee?
I mean, I guess.
Oh, no, tell you, go to chiropractor. Sherwood? I said I haven't heard, I hear it since that thing. Yesterday.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, thank you.
Can't get shot.
No, it's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Still hurt.
Quit.
Don't wait till tomorrow, see what happens.
Going to,
Linda and I was
no, up on the hill. Going to his dad. His dad was going to be moving. His son was going to.
Yeah, I got your son.
That's the same
Yeah,
one.
I like him though.
I think he was just going to his dad. He had his dad on the phone. Tell you that he's.
Oh, yeah, 100%,
I didn't know that.
100%. Of course, I don't see it till afterwards. Yeah, you got it.
I know what a funeral home is.
well, you worked over her.
I don't even know that one.
Everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
I'd like to call the City of Wagoner special call. Who's that was?
Ouch. Gayla, what are you doing there for?
Oh, no.
I got some metal in there
I
yet
got some
somewhere?
metal somewhere.
Rhonda turned that off and it did go off.
Test.
Wow. Well, we'll try it again. I'd like to call the City of Wagoner special call business meeting, March 26, 2025 at 6:01.
Item number 1, consider accepting and approving audit for the City of Wagoner for the fiscal year ending 6/30/2024, Hood and Associates, or take other action.
Okay. Can everybody hear me now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. All right. Well, I am Mark Stair. I'm a senior audit manager with Hood and Associates, responsible for the City of Wagoner audit this year. So I'll start out with a little bit of background about Hood and Associates. We were formed in 1992. We serve clients in 4 states: Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, and Missouri, which we also maintain active licenses in each of those 4 states. Our last peer review was a pass with no comments, which is the best score you can get on a peer review. And so that's a little bit of background on our audit firm. The scope of the audit that we're talking about tonight is the year ended June 30th, 2024. We did the independent auditor's report, including the report on internal controls in accordance with generally accepted government accounting standards. We did a single audit under the uniform guidance, and we also have a required communication letter for you that supplements that audit. Additionally, there is a Wagoner Public Works Authority audit that is included in the main audit, but for loan purposes, we issue a separate report. So I won't be going through that report separately, but it's included in the main report. Let's see. The management responsibilities for an audit are to prepare financial statements in accordance with GAAP. This includes designing and implementing internal controls relevant to preparing financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether that's due to fraud or error. They are to follow the laws and regulations, including financial and reporting on compliance matters. Management must design a system which considers laws, regulations, contracts, and grant agreements. Finally, they are to ensure financial information is reliable and properly reported. Again, they should consider internal controls throughout the financial and non-financial processes. They select and apply appropriate accounting principles as they relate to the financial statements, the statement of expenditure of federal awards, and all required and not required supplementary information. The auditor responsibilities in an audit are to conduct the audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, government auditing standards, and the uniform guidance. We are to plan and perform our audit to obtain reasonable assurance that the basic financial statements are free from materials misstatement. That is a high-level governing body. The first has to do with illegal acts, and we're happy to say that we had no illegal acts come to our attention as a result of performing our audit procedures. The second is changes in significant accounting policies. This year, there were no changes that significantly affected the audit or the financial statements of the city. Additionally, the interpretation of previously enacted standards was not changed during the year. The third item is in regards to disagreements with management. Audit addresses three basic questions. The first is, are the financial statements free from material misstatements? The answer to that question is that we have issued an unmodified opinion that the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. This is also known as a clean opinion, meaning that we did not find anything, so it's the highest level of assurance we can provide. The second is, are internal controls over financial reporting adequately designed and operating effectively? And the answer to that question is that we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we consider to be material weaknesses. Finally, it asks, did the city comply in all material respects with the finance-related laws and regulations? Again, we are noting no non-compliance with the finance-related laws and regulations of the city's operations. Some financial results for you. So this is going to be in the big book. The unmodified opinion is in the independent auditor's report on page 1. The report on internal controls that I mentioned is on page 3 of the big book. And then the financial statements themselves, well, I guess I should mention, the next section is management's discussion and analysis about the financial results that kind of puts them into a frame of context as far as what caused some of the changes. You can read that in the MD&A. And then on page 12, the financial statements actually begin. So this year, well, as always, there are 3 sets of financial statements. The first is a government-wide set of financial statements. This is a government set of financials that kind of resembles what a business would report. So this one's going to be focused on a longer-term focus of the city. The second is the fund financial statements, and this one is a financial resources focus, meaning it is looking at the resources available to meet current liabilities. So it'll exclude things like fixed assets and whatnot like that that you can't use to pay current liabilities, or at least can't easily use. I suppose you could only sell them. The third one is the proprietary fund statements, and this is the statements of business-like activities. They look a lot like a business set of financial statements, so we'll cover all 3. In the government-wide financial statements, the total assets this year are $47,072,497. Total liabilities were $15,519,468. So this brings us to a net position of $31,553,029. Of that net position, as you can kind of see, we do have $14,281,043 is basically fixed assets, so not available money at all. The next portion is items that are restricted for a specific purpose, which was $2,836,495. So that leaves $14,435,491 of unrestricted net position for the city this year. That number was an increase of $3,403,555, which is demonstrated on page 13 in the change in net assets at the bottom there. The next set of financial statements is the fund financial statements, which show that the total assets, which basically excludes fixed assets and other pension-related things, were $8,626,713 in assets, $1,027,779 in liabilities, so a fund balance, which is essentially your equity, of $7,598,934. That was an Page 15 and 17 of the big report are reconciliations to get between the government-wide financial statements and the fund financial statements. So that just shows you the items that we remove from consideration or add to consideration as we change focus between the long-term focus of the government-wide and the financial resources focus of the fund financial statements. Page 18 is where we start the proprietary fund financial statements. So this is the WPA and ambulance funds. And on this, we showed total proprietary assets of $29,048,216. Total liabilities of $11,622,953. So that means in the proprietary fund, there's a total net position or equity of $17,425,263. Again, that's on page 18. Page 19 shows that that was an increase in the net position of $1,727,156. Page 20 of the big report is the statement of cash flows that is required for the proprietary type fund. So this is what makes it really a lot more like a business set of financial statements, as we include a cash flow statement for that. So this just shows you the uses and sources of cash that came in. At the bottom of that is a reconciliation to how that gets to the net income amount. The next section of the report is the notes to the financial statements, and I'll draw your attention to a couple of specific notes. On page 26 of the report is the fixed asset note. So this details the various fixed assets of the city, broken down by both the governmental funds, which is the city funds, and then the proprietary funds is the ambulance and utilities, or WPA funds. So that shows that the total assets for the government funds, net of any depreciation, was $7,811,921, and the total for the proprietary funds was $15,987,429. Again, this also details out the net of the difference between additions and deletions for the year. So this year, we did discover several assets that no longer existed that were still on the fixed asset lists, which artificially inflated the total asset number, but not the net asset number because they were fully depreciated. So we removed a bunch of those assets, so that'll be, when you look at the total asset balances, that'll be the biggest difference, is that we eliminated a lot of fully depreciated assets. So the net didn't really change, but the total asset number will change. The next note that I would draw your attention to is note 10. This is on the note payables, which is loans essentially. And that is on, of course, I didn't write down that page number, so that's going to really screw things up.
29.
29 starts note 10. Well, I guess it starts on 28 and continues on 29. So the first part of this note is just kind of detail on each of the different loans that the city holds. But on page 29 is the schedule that actually shows what the balance was last year, any proceeds received or payments made throughout the year, and then you end at the balance this year. that's broken down by current maturities. So money that's going to be due in the next 12 months versus the long-term debt of, the total debt was $9,767,729. $651,891 of that is current maturities within the next 12 months, leaving $9,115,838 in the long-term category. There's also a chart that shows what's coming due in the next 5 years and then some thereafter. The final note that I would draw your attention to is note 15 on page 34. Nope. 35 starts note 13. Do I have that right? No, I don't. It's note 15. I'm sorry. I just can't even read my own notes tonight. So yeah, that's going to start back on page 39, I believe. This note's about the lease obligations of the city. So it's kind of similar to the notes payable, but shows information on leases that'll be paid. They used to be treated as just an expense throughout the year, but now we actually detail what's expected to come in future years, so that's what this note is doing here. That's the highlights of the financial audit. I'll move on to the single audit, which starts on page 43, is the report for that. And then 45 is the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. This just details what federal awards were spent throughout the year. So as you can see, the city expended approximately $810,653 of federal funding. So that is what qualified for a single audit. The threshold this year was $750,000. The majority of that spending was in the airport improvement program. And so that was selected as the major program this year. If we turn to page 47, you'll see a summary of the results of the single audit. Again, we issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements and on compliance. So there were no items that are required to be reported under the uniform guidance. You will note here that the major program is the airport improvement program, like I stated. You'll also see that the city is noted as not being a low-risk auditee, so I wanted to kind of draw attention to that just to explain it. To be a low-risk auditee, you basically have to be a regular single audit recipient, and at least 2 years worth of single audits have to have been filed within 9 months of the end of the year. 2 years ago, you guys did not qualify. It's fairly sporadic and unlikely that they're going to continue getting single audits, but they might. So that's just kind of some background on that in case people see that and had questions. The next document I have for you guys is the management letter. This just provides some required information that we have to give at the conclusion of each audit to those charged with governance. One difference from last year's letter is that I've started a current year recommendations section. So this would be places where, like last year, we talked about doing tickets for the special events to help track revenue. Those are the types of things that would get included in the current year comments section. That's on page 3 of that special report. For this year, I just gave you guys a list of all of the upcoming GASB statements that are going to be, or GASB pronouncements that are going to be implemented over the next few years. So the city just needs to start kind of thinking about what they need to do for those. And if there's any questions on that, we're always happy to provide guidance on what you guys need to do. But that's kind of how I chose to start it out this year, since it's a new section. In future years, or if we see trends, that'll be where, like, a couple years ago, we had a lot of cybersecurity incident issues. So we started including a cybersecurity note in our letter just to basically say, you should probably review your cybersecurity. Always a good idea anyways, but especially when we start seeing those trends, that's when we kind of put those comments in the letter, just so you guys are aware of some of the accounting trends going on. Other than that, I'd just like to say that Hood and Associates appreciates the opportunity to serve as the city auditor, and we especially appreciate the hard work that we received from the city staff this year to get all the various documents together for us so that we could complete this audit. Any questions?
Discussion?
Is there, on this, on the, let's see here, the lease obligations, the right to use asset and then the cumulative, is that like something on here that I could, like, is there a breakdown of that?
Well, there's probably not a breakdown of that asset, but I can get that information. There were not a ton of leases, so it's mostly one item, I believe. But I'll have to get, I'll have to get the breakdown of that. So yeah, that's the right to use vehicles. That's gonna be mostly the police lease vehicles. Since they are not purchased, they're leased, they end up in this category versus in the fixed assets.
And what about the, and the accumulated, is that the same?
Yeah, so accumulated amortization is essentially depreciation, but in a lease, accounting people decided to use a fancy word for it, but it basically means depreciation.
Anything else? Further discussion? Entertain a motion?
Make the motion to approve the audit by Hood and Associates.
Second. Have a motion, second. Please call the roll.
Higginbottom,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wagoner,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
North.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Item number 2, consider approval of change order number 1, WAG 24-01, Pavilion at Lincoln and Dunbar Parks, per recommendation from Infrastructure Solutions Group, LLC, or take other action.
Hello, council. One of the things that we were working on is getting these pavilions up as quick as we can. One of the options was a cold form building, and the change order in front of you is to move the buildings or the pavilions to a cold form building. I've looked at all of the submittals on it. It does meet all of the engineering requirements. So, and these buildings are available.
What's the difference from what we did from?
So what happened was somehow there was some confusion. And Mueller had a set of plans from when you went and talked to him. And that contractor ordered those buildings. So Mueller has those buildings out there on the ground ready to go. Well, that's not really what we asked for. We asked for red iron. So I went and spoke to Mueller, and meets the exact same requirements. I mean, the wind capacity, everything, the snow load, all of it, there's no difference. So I believe they were 13 weeks out if we waited for the red iron. This guy, he's already started on the concrete and everything, and he did that on his own. We told him that too, but we felt pretty confident because he's also given us 10,000 back.
What is it gonna look like? The same.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it won't look really any different except the beams.
The The beams on a rigid building is made out of I-beams.
Yeah.
This is basically channels back to back bolted together.
Yeah, I went out there and looked at the one over there as far as the foundation of the.
Oh, the foundation over there at Lincoln Park.
The concrete looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Concrete looks real good.
Exactly, if we can start pouring that one in Dunbar pretty quick.
I was gonna say, and another thing, I didn't measure, but is that 30 by 40?
It's 30 by 50.
It is 30 by 50?
Yeah.
I think
Is-
it's,
is
It
the,
didn't look like it, did it?
no, it didn't, and I was.
Thomas broke out a wheel. We went over there and I said, boy, I
Well, I
don't
was.
think that is.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of eyeballed and just looked at the cross sections and like, well, that looks like 10 feet, and so there's 4, and then I was like 3, so I'm like, well, maybe that's what, yeah.
no,
It was 30 by 50, okay.
we measured it, yeah.
Okay.
Or Thomas did.
And then I guess,
Because I asked him, I said, it does not look like 30 by 50.
that's why I just kind of looked, I mean, I didn't, like I said, I didn't have a tape measure or anything like that, so. Okay, that's good to know.
But,
30 by 50.
I think we're gonna be fine with going, you know, making 10,000 back. So,
So if we go with these here, we're getting $10,000 back from what we.
yes, $10,000 back and roughly completion, maybe,
10 weeks or so,
yeah,
quicker.
yeah.
And then 13 to wait on.
That's
it.
a
Additional.
minus the additional 13 weeks
Right.
that we'd have to wait on Wheeler, or Mueller to make that.
Gotcha.
Further discussion? Entertain a motion?
So, man. Second.
Have a motion, and a second. Please call the roll.
Sampson,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Wagoner,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
North,
Yes.
Higginbottom.
Yes.
Item number 3, consider accepting a bid and entering into a contract with Drake Construction LLC in the amount of $68,600 for storm sewer Phase 2 Castlever Drainage Project cast-in-place concrete junction boxes per recommendation from Infrastructure Solutions Group LLC, or take other action.
Council, just a little bit of history here. Back in September, we awarded the cast-in-place boxes to Envision contractors, and they have since then filed bankruptcy. Okay, and we had 5 boxes remaining on his contract. We had left on his contract from what we've already paid him on what's left was a little over $75,000. We had to go out, we went ahead and went out and solicit proposals again for the remaining 5 boxes, and the lowest bid we got back was $68,600. So this will complete the Castlever Drainage Project. And reason we wanted to do this, so the contractor's ready to start.
Yeah.
As soon as we get the bonds and the insurance in, he's already working on that. So just as soon as the council approves it, hopefully he can get out here and get started so we can open up these streets.
Yeah, because I think, Thomas, you're ready for 3 or 4 of them right now, aren't you?
We're ready for 2. We'll be ready for 2 more just by the end of the week probably, so there'll just be 1 left.
And it's gonna save us money.
Well, I don't know if it's gonna save you money. We'll probably have to pay it to the bonding company, but that's something we have to work out. Because not only.
Well, it was less than what we owed that gentleman though, right?
He did not pay his materials, so the bonding company has to pay the materials that he didn't pay. So the bonding company will be out. I think I calculated it was right at about 24,000 on materials that contractor hasn't paid, that needs to be paid, and the bonding company will be paying that.
So we're gonna add about 24,000 to that 68,000?
We won't.
No.
The bonding
No.
company will.
Okay.
The most that the city will be out is what the original contract was, the very most. We're hoping we're gonna get some back since
Right.
this contractor's less than what's owed on the contract.
Yeah. He was the same one that was doing the pickleball too. That's why we had to rebid that.
Yeah, that's the reason we got to pick.
Which we did come in
Lower.
quite a bit lower on the
Yep,
pickleball
we did.
last time, so. Any further discussion? Entertain a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Wagoner,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
North,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Higginbottom.
Yes.
Item number 4, consider a resolution amending the master fee schedule of the city of Wagoner, Oklahoma, or take other action.
So what this is would be changing the fee for the Civic Center.
But for them rental of the
I'm sorry?
for them rental of the theater.
Just the theater.
Nonprofit.
Yeah,
Right.
just the theater for the nonprofits. This is what we talked about with the
Yeah,
children's
the
theater group.
Playhouse
So
lady the other day.
What are we going to?
100 for
Yeah,
the,
right there.
instead of 150.
Fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also amended, I think the original master fee said the rental was done at the Civic Center because it was. So this amends it to the utility office where it's done.
Which is where it needs to be.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's where we do
where
it
you
now,
go.
so.
So for regular rental, still 150, right? But just that.
No.
Any
We
nonprofit,
have to
Oh,
do
any
them all.
nonprofit.
Have to
any
do them all
nonprofit is
fair.
100.
Yeah. I don't remember. Do you remember what? off the
A
top-
for-profit is 250, and the nonprofit, we've amended to 100.
Yeah, we're,
Nonprofit only.
yeah.
From 150 to 100.
Is that what it costs us to operate, to open that per day? Yeah, or-
Depends on, if it's summer or.
Yeah, and how many hours
depends.
they're there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a
yeah.
variable.
I don't know how you really calculate it, but the
Yeah.
good thing with them is they're gonna have their own sound system.
Right.
So we're not having to pay somebody or do anything with that to run sound. But to me, I look at this as a quality of life.
Well, no, no, I 100% agree with you. I just don't, I just don't feel like we should be making money.
I don't think we're
We
making
won't
money.
be.
Okay.
Because,
We won't be.
we have to pay the cleaning.
Right,
Paying
right.
someone, I mean, in the long run, I imagine we actually lose money on this. I wouldn't think it was a whole lot, but if it was in the middle of July or August, the AC was on, we probably would lose some. But if it gives kids a thing to do and inside and cool or out of the weather, probably worth losing $100. Further discussion? Entertain a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Butler,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Wagoner,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
North,
Yes.
Higginbottom.
Yes.
Item number 5 is adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Butler,
Yes.
Wagoner,
Yes.
Higginbottom,
Yes.
North,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Sampson.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned at 6:35. Appreciate it, Scott. You got your letter and everything good?
No, you can just send it over in the morning if you want, or is that work? Okay.
Sweet.
We've got everything else ready to go.
Thank you.
The only thing, it's all uploaded, we're good to go.
All right. Careful. All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Are we done?
No, we ain't done, Larry. Yeah, we got Public Works still. I'd like to call the Wagoner Public Works Authority Special Call Business Meeting, March 26, 2025, at 6:36 PM.
Item number 1, consider accepting and approving audit for the Widener Public Works Authority for the fiscal year ended 6/30/2024. Hood and Associates, or take other action.
Go ahead. Public Works?
I thought he said he presented.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. It's a long night.
I have another report still.
So do we still make a motion?
Yeah.
Make a motion we approve.
Second. Have a motion, second, please call the roll.
Wright,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Higginbottom,
Yes.
Wagoner,
Yes.
North,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Abernathy.
Yes.
Item number 2, consider accepting a bid and entering into a contract with Sandyland Environmental LLC in the amount of $63,000 for water plant residuals removal per recommendation from Infrastructure Solutions Group LLC, or take other action.
This is to clear our other pond at the water plant. This is the same contractor that is there now. We put it out for bids. And
Yeah, we basically put it out for bids. The other contractor is there. A lot of the cost is mobilization, so he was already there, so he gave us a good price to clean out the second pond.
Discussion, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, second, please call the roll.
Wright,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Higginbottom,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Wagoner,
Yes.
North.
Yes.
Item number 3 is adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, second, please call the roll. Thanks, Dave.
Butler,
Yes.
Wagoner,
Yes.
Higginbottom,
Yes.
North,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Sampson.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned at 6:39.
No. You're good.